Before we get started, we want to warmly acknowledge Kevin from the Southeast, who served heroically in Afghanistan and is struggling right now. Brady Duke, do you have any comments for Kevin from the Southeast?
Yeah, we see you, those who struggle with PTSD, those who have served our country alongside me. It's an honor to have served to know that men and women have served where I have served, even when I wasn't there with them. And what you've done for the country matters. Who you are for your families today matters. And your pain is important for us to really consider, to look at this being PTSD Awareness Month. It's extremely important for us to value who you are and the contribution that you've made to our country.
Hi, I'm Dr. J. Welcome. Excited to have you here. Groucho Marx once said, I have principles. I have bedrock principles. And if you don't like them, well, I've got others. So no disrespect, actually with entire disrespect to Groucho Marx, we are here to talk to you today about some bedrock principles which are going to help you with mental and emotional resilience. And I have the great fortune of having Brady Duke here with me. Brady Duke is SEAL Team 1. His specialty was clearing buildings in Afghanistan. He was so good at it, he went on to teach it. He has 5 children. He's also a pastor, and he's running for U.S. Congress. What a lazy bum. Brady, I'm delighted to have you here. Let's talk about this idea of mental and emotional resilience and, being a Navy guy, rediscovering our ballast. How do we get back on track? We're coming out of this incredible malaise of COVID.
Right.
Our neighbors, our clients, our family members, they need us. They're counting on us for leadership. We haven't been defeated, right?
Right. Yeah.
What should we be doing?
It's ballast is actually something that exists in the ship. It's something that is there to right the ship. And when it's in proper condition, it will do that no matter the storm that it faces. And, that has to be kept healthy, that has to be kept operational. And, with my time overseas, we faced a lot of opposition. And, what we fell back on was what was instilled in us in training. I had a job to do. I was a sniper. I was also the ordnance rep for my platoon overseas. And a specific story, one of the first operations that I ever did, we were on a roof. And we took this compound over. We were there interrogating certain individuals that we were looking for. And, the day grows, hot and long, and we started getting opposition, and the guns that we had brought to the roof to fight, big, heavy weapons, an M2HP 50 cal machine gun and a grenade launcher. These things, we started receiving heavy fire, and the grenade launcher was actually shot out within the first bout of gunfire. The 50 cal machine gun was malfunctioning in a way that it never had before. So here we were, having trained and prepared for this, and things are going wrong. I think this could be similar to the season that I think we're coming out of with COVID. Is have a plan in place, and then things take a hard left turn. And when you're on the roof and the rounds are flying, quite literally skipping all around you, there's a job that I had to do. I had to go and get that 50 cal gun working. That was my job. I had to ensure that was up and running for our platoon so that we could actually overcome the resistance that we were facing on the rooftop that day. And getting into action is one of the greatest ways to overcome fear, is to overcome stress, and doing what you've already done or been trained to do is one of the simplest ways to overcome stress, because stress turns a lot of people internal. Right? So many people we've all been cooped up. We've all been left in place to kind of almost sit in our own space and worry about what's next. But the greatest thing that you can do is actually turn and do what you know to do physically in your life.
Yeah, and William James had a great line. Mood follows action. Mood follows action. So what I'm curious about from your extraordinary training, and goodness gracious, thank you for your service. Thank you.
Yeah.
On behalf of all of us here. Let's get granular, let's get specific on the actions that you would suggest to help us, again, retain this emotional and mental resilience or ballast as we're characterizing.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we have in our professions, in our life, the way that we live our life, what we think of as our greater purpose. A lot of things that we know we should be doing. That stress actually we treat as something greater than. And we have to understand that each of us has a role to play. So in the SEAL teams, each of us has a role to play that's extremely vital for the thriving of the team and the accomplishment of that mission. And if I sit still and if I cower in fear, that greater purpose will not be accomplished because I'm a necessary piece of that. And I think looking at that of saying, okay, I am one part of this team, whether that's in business, I am one part of this family at home. What is it that I know to do to get myself in action today that I'm letting the fear and the stress overcome me and allow me to start thinking that it's greater than what my higher purpose would be in this context.
Yeah, and we're going to suggest writing that down. Still clear on what your ultimate mission is, what your why is, your purpose beyond self.
Right.
And we've talked a little bit about the energy pyramid, and I want to give the acknowledgement to my mentor, Dr. Jim Lear from the Johnson & Johnson Human Performance Institute, 35 years of wonderful science on mental and emotional resilience. And to your point, spot on, we have to know what our purpose is. Right? And we should write it down, get clear on it.
Yeah. And so I think through my time in the SEAL teams and being involved in training and helping guys actually refine their skills and how to clear a building specifically. And when that moment hits and that high stress moment, that high adrenaline dump hits you, kind of the truth will come out of, hey, what's really ingrained in me? What is my automatic response? And that's why at times of rest, we have to actually look back at those deep things of what is really the foundation of who I am and where is that really going to take me in times where I'm up against opposition. Because everything that we have developed in the SEAL teams that is really effective is only that which has been opposed. There's a lot of things a lot of tactics in that world that people come up with that are actually not as effective as they think because they've only been tested in a vacuum. They've only been tested without opposition, right? And so what is it that you have at your disposal where it has been tested? Those around you, who around you has been tested in this way? That's something that I think we can really draw from as well as who's your team, who's your tribe? Because even though I was one person in my platoon, I had a job to do, I had responsibilities to do for myself that were also a part of supporting that team. But my team, we had a shared experience. At this point, with having come out of COVID, we are all having a shared experience of, hey, what has this done? That's a great point. What has this done to my thinking? What has this done to my business? What has this done to my family life? And I think sharing your personal experience with someone near you who you see thriving out of this season is really a goal because we all have moments where you have to just let somebody into how hard it's been. And that's, I think, the brotherhood that I've come from. There was always a place for that. So vulnerability is really a core element to what you're doing as a SEAL. You have to know and trust the people that you're around. And it's absolutely necessary to kind of really look at what is it mentally and emotionally that's going wrong. Okay, well, a physical step is, let me bring someone into this. Let me get active physically. I mean, there's so many benefits to even just physically getting your body moving. If I am getting shot at on a roof, which has happened multiple times, and if I were to sit there and think about that one round that almost hit me there, or that one round that almost hit me here, and so focus on something so small, I lose vision of what's actually the big picture around me.
Wow.
I get paralyzed into thinking what that little thing could have done, as catastrophic as it could have been. I still have within me the opportunity right now to take action and move into doing what I know is going to actually be a part of accomplishing this mission. And that's getting into the fight.
Yeah.
Right? The only way out of these scenarios is to engage with the fight, with the battle.
So take us through, come on, man, clearing buildings in Afghanistan. You need your best self. You need to be alive, alert, creative, on your best game, however you want to characterize it. And you're doing this bigger mission for your mates and for your republic, right?
Absolutely.
And so take us through the fundamentals of clearing a building. What does that look like?
Yeah. Well, it takes a lot of repetition with training, right? So we lay a bedrock foundation of what are our tactics? How do we utilize these tactics? We need to master and know them in and out, backwards and forwards, so that under stress, I can still perform these basic things. Because when the stress hits, your fine motor skills go out the door.
Fine motor skills go out the door.
When stress hits, I could on the range without any opposition, I could put around, and then you can drive tacks with it, hit the same hole over and over and over again. Now you have someone opposing you, that impact zone is gonna get wider, right? So we have to look at, what is at the foundation? How have you repped out? What your fundamentals are for what you are hoping to master in life. And so going overseas, right? We had worked as a unit so closely that we got to the point of, being able to know what my buddy was thinking across from me in a given space, according to what the threats are within a given space. And so I have to know that when I go through this doorway, my buddy, my number 2 man, is with me. And then I have to look at what the threats are in the room. I have to prioritize what is the biggest and greatest threat to me at this moment where my feet are planted, right? And so we can look at that in life right now. Like where my feet are planted now, what is the greatest threat to me? Yeah, truly. And there are things that I can change and there's things that I cannot change. I have to actually look at what I cannot change and just accept that as a part of the game at this point. And then I have to look at every opportunity that I have to affect change in that space as quickly and as effectively as I can. So as I decide to, move across the room to go continue clearance through another space, I have to have already thought through, what is it that I'm exposed to now? Can I get from point A to point B effectively? What is he thinking? What is he most exposed to in this space? And, how that affects me, it really takes an understanding for, you have to know what the game plan is going in, and have done a lot of research into, okay, what are we really running forward with? What is it that I'm standing on, the principles that I'm standing on, as you referenced earlier. And with that, we can bend, we can move, our tactics can change slightly, but there's still a bedrock of consistency there. Yeah,
and there's a commander's intent I've heard you talk about, right?
Right.
We're going to get the job done, but we need to sway. We need to be able to sway.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to do that if you're stressed out, if you're emotionally you're out of gas.
Right. Everyone has being overseas and living with guys. We all have these routines. We have these rituals. Like I know a guy, he would always carry a Snickers bar with him.
Yeah.
When you have 5 minutes to take a breather.
Yeah. Right.
Where's your
endorsement for Snickers bar? You're welcome.
What is that's going to, take me off the gun for a second.
Yeah.
Right? Allow me to
take you off the gun.
Get off the gun, right? So if I'm clearing a room, I'm clearing a building, let's say a building, right? Multiple rooms. And you've gone into one room, you're the first guy. You've gone into another room, you're the first or second guy. You've gone into another room, you're the first or second guy. your adrenaline has been peaking and peaking and peaking at this point because you don't know what's across the threshold, really. You can make assessments, you can do all the intel that you can gather on this, but you are exhausting yourself with adrenaline.
Yeah.
At some point, it is wise, and we train to this, hey, get off of the gun. Let someone else get to the front of this and take the lead on this so that you can take a breather. You can, again, get the bigger picture. What's our overall goal? Because we can get so focused on the front sight focus, the shooting principle, that we lose the big picture of what's going on around us. It disorients us. It's very easy to become disoriented when you're so focused on one specific problem that is very intense and very challenging and very stressful. You can get very disoriented very quickly.
Yeah. Excuse me for interrupting, but what I'm hearing is the importance of the candy bar, right? I'm going to say characterize it as rituals.
Yeah.
That allow us to oscillate, non-correlating activities.
Right.
Right. That's just vital right now. We need rest, ladies and gentlemen, in a big way.
Right.
I've seen it in corporate America for nearly 25 years now. There is such a dearth of quality sleep, for example, not getting 7.5 hours and what that does to the system.
Right.
And you're making the appeal to somebody who's done the most stressful thing imaginable on planet Earth, clearing buildings in Afghanistan. You're giving a command out there to our listeners to oscillate, to rest, to eat a candy bar.
Absolutely.
But self-awareness is really part of that too, isn't it? Is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to understand yourself. You have to know where your weaknesses are. We have to understand, okay, I'm experiencing stress in ways that's actually limiting my ability to perform well, right? So when we see the performance dropping, we need to understand, okay, I need to make an assessment. Where am I at really? How do I oscillate, from being on the gun to backing off? So someone who's in the business world, on the phone all day long, whatever it is, you need a break.
Yeah, 90 minutes, you got to get up and move. We were not designed to do this all day long. And it's literally killing us.
Yeah,
it's killing our children. I mean, this is a very grave matter.
Right, I believe our bodies were made to do physical things.
Yes.
And our physiology is actually designed to produce energy as we are getting physical and as we're creating motion in our body.
Yeah.
It's a necessary piece of our humanity. Someone who's on the phone for 8 hours a day almost, just constantly following up for business calls or whatever it is, take 5 minutes every hour. That may sound like it's not possible. Get out of that environment. Go walk to the car and come back. Yeah. You can use 5 minutes to let your mind rest, let your body rest, get out of that environment. Because even when we were overseas, we occupied a compound, say for 2 or 3 days, to accomplish a few things. There were times there are shifts. There's guys on watch on the top, and there's guys resting down below. In a dark room or resting, because at night someone's got to be on watch as well. So even when you are there, you're outside the wire, you are actually engaging in warfare. There are times when you have to take a break to be able to sustain yourself through the challenge.
Yeah, maybe the title is cast is what's your candy bar, right?
What's your candy bar?
And just again, self-awareness. Benjamin Franklin said there are 3 things that are hard in life: steel, diamonds, and self-awareness. Right? Because I know your limitations, right? I know Diego's over there, but mine. Yeah. How do we ascertain? I mean, we got to square off to him, do we not? If we really want to if we want to have the best, highest quality impact on the people around us, we have to be self-aware, do we not?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're getting into the SEALs because it's coming anyways. You're going to get that feedback automatically, right? In business, it can be a little trickier. It's certainly trickier with family life at home. Yeah. But self-awareness is key.
Right. You have to know how you're doing. What is your energy like?
Yeah.
Right. Do I feel like when I get up for the day, when I see the problems ahead of me, how do I feel about that?
Right.
How am I, mentally, emotionally, physically, even spiritually, where am I at when I know the coming challenges for the day? And if I'm not eager to face those, if I'm not feeling prepared, we have to be honest, and we have to say, okay, I need to rest this way. I need to get prepared more in this way. And so even just the thought of not being prepared for something causes stress.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And you can be in that cycle where I'm not prepared, I need to get prepared, so that stresses me out, but the stress distracts me from actually taking time to get prepared.
Right.
And you have to fight for that time. You have to fight for that and prioritize it and say, no, if I want to actually change something in this world, if I want to actually have an impact on the business that I run, if I want to have an impact on the industry, if I want to have an impact on the war that we're fighting, I have to value myself enough to say, I need a break. I need to take a step back. I need to really assess what is causing the fear in me, the stress in me, the anxiety in me. What am I afraid that I don't have control of at this moment? And look at it. And there's probably people next to you, next to us, who have already looked at that and said, hey, this is how I actually overcame that. Because in the SEAL teams, it's, you walk around with your gear on, you're training, you're working, and you're always like, hey, what do you got?
Yeah.
Oh, I see you got this set up here, or that's over there. And tell me why you have it this way.
Yeah.
Right? And how can we relate that to life? Is I see that you have this going on. I see that you're doing really well at this stage, right? I see you're doing well at this stage, even after COVID. What are you into? How are you maintaining?
Yeah.
That's humility. That's respectable. That's honorable. That's to say, hey, I'm not where you're at in this area. Yeah. How'd you get there?
Bishop Steve Parks, who heads up a fabulous church in Savannah, Georgia, said in a homily recently that the meaning of life is to find your gifts. The purpose of life is to distribute them. The meaning of life is to find your gifts. The purpose of life is to distribute them. And I think about what you're doing with your teams, right? You've got to be aware of your gifts. You have this tremendous ability as a sniper, right? You were blessed with that ability, and you also worked your fanny off at it. And distributing that in the name of freedom, in the name of the Republic, in the name of your mates. Yeah. Speak to that, being aware of what you're good at and what you're not good at.
I think it's important to value what is actually, a strength of yours. We don't have to be ashamed of it. We don't need to be prideful, but knowing, okay, I've been gifted in these ways. Acknowledging that and holding it reverently of saying, okay, I have this capability. How can I use it to the best I can to make the greatest impact? And that's not to say, the move is not to, well, I should probably hide this because I need to be humble. I need to downplay this. No, I'm going to own it. I'm going to be the best at it that I can be. With clearing buildings, it's something that I have trained, I have done for years. I enjoy teaching guys, current law enforcement, something I'm actively doing. And, for me to not take the opportunity to pass on that knowledge could be harmful to these men's lives. I was actually actively training a SWAT team in New Jersey a year or two ago, and there was a live event that happened that made national news. And those responding, every unit that responded, I had the pleasure of actually training every guy on those teams. And being able to hear the debrief of how it went, and knowing that, okay, I played a part in them being able to be capable, to accomplish, and be, my words are failing me right now.
A force for good, I'll say it for you, a force for good.
Yeah.
Truly amazing.
To be successful and to feel like, man, to hear them say, thank you, like what you did actually helped us accomplish this, do well at it, and has probably saved some of our lives. And if I had said, no, I'm not, I don't want to do this, and maybe, I'm just going to be so quiet that I don't actually distribute what I have to people who need it, that is something that won't get passed on. We have to value ourselves enough to say, what I have is of value, maybe not to everyone, but it is to a lot of people. And it does matter. Yeah,
it does matter. Okay, I want to wrap up here with Brady Duke, the final question on keeping it real. Keeping it real here. Again, my mentor, Dr. Jim Lear, came up with a tremendous interrogative. He said, ask yourself this on a regular basis: who or what is getting your best energy, your best self, and are you okay with that? Isn't that a whomper doodle? That's a big one.
You asking me right now?
I'm asking you right now, Brady Duke.
My best
Isn't that a great question to ask yourself on a regular basis?
It is. I hope my family is. I know that I put so much into being a father, being a husband. I think one of the greatest contributions you can make to the world is having children. And that's why I have 5 of them.
That's fantastic. Brady Duke, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.